I'm Aaron Seja, and I'm here interviewing my older brother Alex Seja in Chicago, Illinois. We're doing this in our house. It is December 11th, 2017. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
Why don't you give yourself a catchy name the Say How podcast? Anyway, go on.
All right. How was your life during high school? How was high school life?
So what do you mean specifically? How I was in high school, as a person, or what did I think of high school?
We could start with how you was as a person.
How
in
I
high school.
Okay. So I was an awful kid. I was completely awful. I got into trouble a lot. Didn't like doing my homework. Parents, as you know, were on my butt about everything. I'm pretty sure they're on your butt about everything too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no. High school was a slacker. Was a huge slacker, but it was okay. I went to a music school. I went to Lincoln Park High School. It was pretty cool. Got in there because of my decent grades coming out of elementary, and stayed basically almost throughout the whole thing because music. Honestly, it's just music.
So, do you join any clubs during high school or anything?
So I used to be on swim team, which was cool. I did water polo. There's, I guess that's not a class or a club. It's like a class, but band. I did marching band and stuff like that, and that was, yeah, that's a class. It's a class I liked that I kept ditching.
So, do you play any instruments as a high schooler?
Oh yeah, so anything low brass I play. So euphonium, trombone's my main instrument. I could play tuba, baritone. I could play a little baritone sax, trumpet. I'm trying to think of the rest of. I think that covers most of it. I can also play clarinet. I hate the clarinet though. Don't even get me started on flutes. God, definitely the piccolos.
So-
Anyway, yeah. It's what I picked up in high school.
So, how is college different from high school?
Yeah, that was a jump. College is, my life is different. I mean, in high school, everything's about getting good grades, getting the things that you need to do done. I almost swore there. That was bad. Stuff like that. It's all about making sure your work is done, or your work is good and done. I guess in a sense, because everyone has this pressure on you, on you need to do the best you can, so that way you can go to college and blah blah blah. And everyone has this ideation, this idea of college being some sophisticated thing that you need to be a genius at, and it's not how I see school. So, at the time, I went into online school after my junior year, because I wasn't doing it. I wasn't focusing on stuff anymore. But anyway, so I went to online school and I finished that. I got my degree, and I basically was just living in the real world for a little bit, and it sucked. And then I went into college. College is completely different. It's remember my first day of college? I walked in. I have this teacher. His name is Mr. Martin Atkins. Walked in, called him Mr. Atkins. Stops me. He's like, "It's Martin." He's yeah, I'm his student, but in a sense that we are people. It's he's done a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal person, but he sees people as equal, and that's the real thing that hit me hard. It's just the first week I was like, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Professor, blah, blah, blah." No. Martin, Julie, Katie. They want to be known by their names, which is awesome, because I'm the same way. It's like if I ever become a teacher, or if I was like, even when I was a swim teacher, it was like, people try to call me, oh, Mr. Alex. That's it. I'll go by Alex. Alex is cool enough with me. So it's like it's a lot more casual. That said, I think it's fair to say that I go to an art school, so it might be a little different, a little more freedom in it than like a traditional college. But like, I think it's like it's like a different way of learning. It's really cool. I like it a lot. But yeah, college life is fun. A lot of work, but fun. Even like my homework, I'm having fun. I'm having fun doing accounting. Like my math homework, literally been doing like taxes and like credit card and like figuring out how much you owe and like loans and everything. I'm sitting here doing Excel and I'm like, oh man, this is fun just to type in numbers. And I was like, people get paid for this. What's coming? Oh, it's snowing. Hang on. Yeah, anyone that's listening, it started snowing in my room, so I have to close the window. I was not expecting that. Anyway, yeah, so like I'm like cool. I like accounting to a certain extent. It's kind of weird. Same thing with like Master Tour, which is like a touring program that helps bands like figure out where to tour and stuff like that. And it's like a bunch of spreadsheets. Like you need to learn Excel. Do you know what Excel is?
You can explain it though.
Okay. So Excel is a program, Microsoft Word, everyone should know this, where you make spreadsheets to keep data, to see, people usually do it for like funds and funding and stuff like that, money-wise, to keep track of money. I remember we were doing like this exercise where we had to count like how much this band makes or this business makes in like 3 years, right? Well, technically she gave us 6 months. She was like, figure out like each month, like how much they're making, blah, blah, blah. I remember I was sitting down doing the homework, and I was like, cool. 5 hours pass, I turn it in, she sends me an email, she's like, hey, we were only supposed to do 6 months. You did 3 years. And I was like, whoops. I mean, she gave me full credit for it, but like, yeah, whoops. I got really into it. And so, yeah, college is fun. It's interesting finding out that there's things that you're really interested in that you didn't think you're gonna be interested in. Being like a musician and everything, I'm like very like creative. Like room's messy, very like it's a lot of my attitude like putting into it, and like it's like I like accounting, and I'm just like I'm the least organized person in the world. Like what do I know? Why do I like accounting? So yeah, it's interesting.
So, what is one of your biggest challenges?
What kind of challenges? Like, there's so many challenges. You have to be a little more specific, because like we go from like life challenges to inner challenges to musical challenges, there's school challenges. So much.
Let's talk about school.
Just stick with school. All right. So challenges with school is honestly just like like I'm a perfectionist. I like to get everything perfect. And like if I finish like a homework and it's not perfect, I don't feel right. Even if I turn it in, I don't feel right. And one big thing that they've taught me is like finish is better, or done is better than perfect. And at least you have some work to show, even if you only did like 5 problems out of the 30, at least you did 5, But like I have this like issue, because this is also like an internal problem, but like I have an issue where if it's not perfect, I don't feel satisfied with it. And if I don't feel satisfied with it, I don't want to turn it in. And because I don't, it ends up becoming like this rut, this hole that I keep digging into. Because it's like, because I didn't do this, this happens. And because that happens, this happens. And it's a big pain in the butt. Working on it, getting better at it, but like it's still a big issue with my schoolwork. Even like music, it's like awful. Yeah. That's honestly it. That's like the hugest challenge just because I'm still going through it.
So what was one of your biggest challenges through like music?
See, that's also a very broad question because that depends on like which project you're talking about. Okay, so musically, I think my biggest challenge is writing alone. I'm used to writing in bands and stuff like that, so like if someone can help throw in like lyrics or like help in throw a different melody or leads or like help me figure out a certain pattern because I tend to overthink when I write because I'll like listen to it and I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool if we do something like really interesting there, and then like I'll do it, I'll record it and then I'll show it to someone. And someone would be like, you should take that lead out so that way we can hear the vocals, and I'll be like, so yeah. So writing by yourself is like really challenging. That's usually with band stuff, because I write lyrics all the time, writing like melodies and writing the chord progression, the structure of the song. So I want to see what other people throw into because like I overthink. When it comes to like making beats and like doing the whole rap thing, I think my biggest problem on that is like not telling people what I want when I work with them, because like I work with a lot of producers, so it's like, oh cool, yeah, let's make a beat, blah blah blah, and I'll tell them how to make this beat, and then they'll come up with something and it's like something I didn't want to turn out. Like it's still good, but like it's not what I want to do, and it's just like I can't tell them no because it's like it's a lot of hard work, So you gotta sit down, you gotta type it out, you gotta write it out, and it's like a pain in the butt. Everything's a pain in the butt. Life's a pain in the butt. But like, yeah, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. I just can't tell people no. I'm too kind. The world's gonna chew me out for it one day. Karma's gonna get me back on it, and then I'm gonna be like the meanest person in the world. That's what's gonna happen. Hopefully not, but like probably.
Or kind of like changing subjects like really fast.
Don't change it so quickly. Like come up with something. Like if you want to incorporate like racism into this, what my thoughts on racism is. So you pick something like music wise, like in a sense, like here, go ahead. Here, I'll chime in. You'll know what I mean once you start asking that next question.
All right, how you feel about racism?
Okay, so racism is bad. Period. Don't matter. You shouldn't treat anyone else. You should treat everyone equally, no matter like how they look, no matter what the skin color, no matter what. I could be the ugliest motherfucker in the world, and I would want someone to treat me with respect, even if I was like hideous, like Hunchback of Notre Dame. Even though I don't even think he's that ugly, to be honest. But like, yeah, I would want him to treat him equally. But like, it's really hard because like, as humans, we're really judgmental, and it's like, it's easy to be like, yeah, racism is bad, but like when something you don't like happens, you instantly jump to a conclusion. That's how your mind kind of works, and you have to fight through it, because you argue with yourself, and you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, kind of thing. So like, I think racism is more of a judgmental thing. I think people need to be less judgmental in general, but like, yeah, racism is bad. It's tough because there's like racism, in a sense, not like direct racism, like anything like violent or anything like that, but there's like racism in like the music scenes that I'm in and stuff like that. My band, for instance, we're all not white. We have 2 black people, we have an Indian person, we have an Asian person, you have 1 Hispanic. So it's like we don't get the attention that some of these other bands do, all these like cutesy white boy bands do. which is, whatever. We have to make up for that in some other way. We haven't found the way yet, but like we're trying to. But like, yeah, racism is bad in general, but judgment itself is like hard in a sense because that's what leads into racism. Because you judge people based on how they look or like what they do, and that's when you start creating these stereotypes, which end up becoming racist. You know, and it's just really difficult because being judgmental is kind of like how we all are. We just have to fight through it. It's interesting.
So you think racism is one of America's biggest problems today, or is there something bigger?
I mean, racism is a really big problem in general. Like I said, I think people being judgmental is a huge, huge problem. I hope you have more questions to this. I'm having fun. Pause it. Did you pause it?
No.
What? No. It's fine. 5 minutes.
So you think racism is one of America's biggest problems today, or do you think there's a bigger problem for America?
So like I said in my last statement, it's like racism is a huge problem. Don't ever get me wrong. I think humans being judgmental is a bigger problem in a sense, because like racism's like the pick of like your color and like the color of your skin and like you act a certain way because of your color of skin. Judgmental is like every little nitpick about it's like I don't like his hair. I don't like and it builds into other problems, but like I think one big problem that I've been seeing a lot is like the absorption of information. It's because so like that whole thing is like we live in the age of the internet. Information is literally at the tips of our fingertips, and as we all know, knowledge is power, right? If I know a dirty secret about you, I could spread it to the world, and you like your career or whatever you're doing could be over. Life. People have literally end other people's lives over just information. So it's crazy. So we live in this world of information where literally information is power, and power creates fear. And what ends up happening is that everyone wants to believe what they want to believe. And so we get all this information, and the problem which is great, because like it's awesome being able to know anything that you want to know. But like it's also awful in the sense because people will look up what they think and what they want to believe, and then they'll see like an article by The Onion or something like that, and then they'll believe it, and then they'll start, preaching about it, but like I was right and you were all wrong, and it's like that's not how it should work. You should always fact check. I mean, anything like anything done with like studies, scientific, historical, it's always done through studies. It's always been fact checked over and over again, and it's like now that we have the age of the internet, it's like where can we fact check with everything else, So there's a misbalance of checks and balances in the world. Specifically, I have a problem with it with the information that people consume, because people find out something that happened like 15 years ago. It's 15 years ago. You might have said something different, like awful. You might have called someone out, called them a bad name, whatever. But as a joke, even. And someone will purposely look through your history. They'll spend like 4 hours looking through your history, grab the one thing that you said, and be like, he's an awful person because he did that. And it's like, because I said one thing that like completely dehumanizes me, and I'm just like not a person anymore. Like that's how it is. But they don't read between the lines. They don't see the context of like, you know, whether it's like a Twitter, what you call it, a tweet. I don't know why I blanked there. A tweet or like a message or anything. It's like, you know, it could really ruin. Don't get me wrong though. Like the whole finding the truth about certain stuff and calling out people for it is great. You know, it's great that we're finding bad people, that people are able to take a stand and fight back. But when you don't have evidence or proof about this happening besides your testimonial, besides your, you know, your words against their word, it's very hard to like pick a side, you know, because like, yeah, I want the people who have been mistreated wrong to like have justice, but like, is it true, you know? Do you remember Coney 2012? No? Okay, so Coney 2012 is a big thing. There was this, I'm trying to remember, it was like this one company that was like, made this story about how there was this like African like drug lord, whatever, he was like human trafficking like kids or whatever, he was like shipping them out all over the world. And they made this whole political movement, like stickers, everything. Stop Coney 2012, Coney 2012, like just trying to stop him, you know? And they sold it to people. And people bought it. I bought it as a high school kid. I used to put up stickers and posters, and like I did that out of my free time because I was like, we gotta like do something. People aren't paying attention about it. Literally, 3 weeks after that incident, the event of like posting up the photos, the stickers and everything, find out that it was a total sham, and the guy made money off of selling posters and stickers and everything else. Total sham. And I use that as like, you know, that's it was like really, you know, they made up videos, they had pictures of him and everything. It's like, this seems all so real, and then you find out it's not real, and like your whole like thought process on it just implodes, because it's just like, what is real and what's not, you know? And that's how I feel like a lot of like news is nowadays, because no one knows if it's real or not, you know? Not to like out credit the news media or the media itself, but like fact checks and balances all the time. Like if like for instance, if like NBC and CBS are reporting on the same thing and they say two different things on the same concept, who am I gonna believe, you know? CBS because I watch them more. NBC, like I can't give an opinion on that. And so I think people need to sit down and actually fact check before they decide to talk about anything. And I think that's a huge problem.
All right, we're kind of gonna dial it back to more personal kind of preference.
For sure.
So you said you're doing a lot of projects, right?
Yeah, so like besides having like my band Action Adventure, I also have this hardcore band Reinhardt, which I'm still looking for one more member to help me write some stuff. Besides all that, I am also working on. It's funny it seems since I'm into punk music and everything, starting a rap career, and it's a rap career. It's weird to say. I'm just starting to write raps and beats and stuff like that, because I tend to enjoy some of the underground stuff, you know. Besides that, I'm also working on becoming a DJ at clubs and stuff like that, so I can make some extra cash, of course. On the side of all of that, I mean, I just want to make content, you know. I want to make videos. I want to edit people's videos. I want to make a cooking show. I have plans for 3 cooking shows. I have plans for like a talk show. I want to start a podcast. There's so much stuff I want to do. You know, it's crazy. And yeah, it's all from the ground up right now. So, but like hopefully I can make it into something else, you know, something bigger.
So where do you see these projects going further into your career, or as like in your life in general?
So that's to be honest, right now I have no idea. I have this alias that I have right now that I'm trying to brand myself as this one person, and then I want this one person to do everything. You know, if you look at like one of my for instance, one of my biggest influences, Tyler the Creator. It's like he does so much. You know, not only does he rap and make beats, but he designs furniture, designs clothing, has a cooking show, has a label, has a collective. He does all this stuff, you know, and it's all underneath him, you know. He is the guy for golf media. I want to be the guy for everything I do, you know. I don't want to be like, oh, here's one band, here's another band, here's, you know, this guy who like also raps and all. No. I want aliases, which is plastic, by the way. I want plastic, and everything that plastic does is associated to everything else. So kind of like a hierarchy tree where me works with everything, and I want to be known as that aliases, you know. So like, in the future, I hope to brand myself in a really cool way, you know. I've already coming up with some cool ideas. Things I won't say here because I don't want to ruin it yet. But like, you might see a lot of water bottles around. It'll be really interesting. That's all you're gonna get. But you might see a lot of water bottles around because like I'm planning on some cool stuff. I'm doing a lot of like music video shoots right now. I'm doing a lot of recording and stuff like that to make sure all of my content is ready and bundled up. So that way, when I'm ready to release, there's no rush to like finish anything up. Everything's just done. I have to just go boom, 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 boom. Like, here's the video, here's the cooking show, here's, you know, merch, here's a couple shows that I'm doing, here's a couple other shows that I'm doing with another band, here's a couple shows that I'm doing with another band, here's the cooking show again, you know, here's my podcast. It's just, everything's just ready, you know. So I could just boom, 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 boom. Everyone's like, man, he's coming out with like a lot of content. It's really interesting. He's doing all this stuff, and he's done it, you know. And it's weird because people are gonna be like, wow, he's doing all this stuff, and he's been doing it for like a month, you know, when actually it's been like 7 months that I've been working on this, and it's just been really quiet because that's how I feel like it should be done, you know. So yeah, I think that's about it. Honestly, I honestly don't see how anything will turn out. I don't even know what's gonna happen in the next month. Who knows, you know? JK, I actually do know what's gonna happen next month. I'm gonna be on vacation, but like the month after that, I have no idea. We'll see what happens, you know. But yeah, that's about everything, honestly, that I have planned so far. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Alex, for doing this interview with me.
Hey, anytime. I had a good time.